Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of my videos. On today's video we're going to talk about section lines and how they help you describe the shapes of your car a lot better. So once you define those surfaces, when we move into coloring, it's going to be a lot easier transition. Hello everyone, my name is Camus. So in today's video we're going to learn the section lines. It's going to be a very key part on moving into color. Be patient with me. I know everyone is ready to start putting colors and doing final renders, but we're not there yet. And the more solid our fundamentals are, the better sketches we're going to have. Here's some examples on paper, and then after that we're going to do some examples on real life so you understand it a lot better. Let's get started with the paper. Okay, so I'm gonna draw three identical sections of the car, just like a side view that has three major body sides. So it will be like the shoulder, the midsection, and the bottom section. On the first one, we're gonna put like a negative shoulder, so it's the surface is coming down, and then it's gonna have a positive midsection and then a negative lower section. On the second example, we're gonna go the other way around. We're gonna have a positive, then a negative, and then a positive. And then on the final one, we're gonna do more like a straight body. So it's a very different design language. That one will have like straighter surfaces. So that's the way you control your surfaces, your design. So if you're gonna show these sketches to a clay modeler or a 3D modeler, you know exactly what your body is doing, and he's not just guessing by seeing those sketches. So now we're gonna see the whole car. And this is how you draw section lines along the car so you can describe what every part of the body is doing. So we're going to start with the mid-center line. You can see how it follows the grille and how it goes inwards. And then we have those bumps on the hood that if it wasn't because of those bumps on the section lines, you wouldn't see them. Side view is what we just showed on the previous one. And then in here where the front bumper is, we can just show a lot more details. Now I'm going to start a second section line on the same door side, so you can tell the difference between the one in the front and the back. You can see how one has the surface coming in a lot harder and the other one's a little straighter. So that's how you control the surface all the way through. Now I'm going to do a few examples of some cars that you might recognize and how the section line helps you describe them a lot easier. So this will make a lot more sense now if you start getting the section lines. Like a 60 cars will have very soft surfaces, nice and round, like a Shelby Cobra. Then if you have like a more modern Ferrari, it's a mix of soft with like harder edges. If you have like a Rolls Royce, it will be a slight crown. A Lamborghini is very hard edge, and the Jeep is just a straight line. I actually went ahead and put tape on this car so you can see those lines, how they look on a real car. So we see them on the sketch, you see them how important they are to make on a 3D drawing. So if you take a look at this line, look how straight it is. Look at the windshield and the hood of the car. And look how, as we rotate, look how that line breaks. And the reason that breaks is because there's a separation of where the surface is. If the windshield was on the same plane as this, it will be a straight line. But since it goes under, you can see that line break, even though it was perfectly straight. Then we have the hood, which has like a bump on it, which is hardly visible. So if you were sketching, you wouldn't see it. But if you go lower, 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 you can see this line following that shape. Remember how we did that line on the drawing where you could see this surface and we were trying to decipher what these lines were, this one and this one, because it could have been a concave surface, a convex surface, or just flat. Right, so these lines are very important for you to be able to describe what's going on with your sketch. Like I mentioned before, if you're going to give this to a 3D modeler, you give them the sketch, and if you don't mark these lines, then they have the freedom to decide what these surfaces are doing. So the more detail and information you put on your sketch, the easier it is for the person that is going to do a 3D model or a clay model. This one was very important because we can tell that this line is curved this way, right? So it has like a positive surface to it. And then we had this line and we had no idea what was happening under that line. So if you see here with this section line that we put in it, we can tell that it goes in and then it has this little bit of a positive surface on it. It's a pretty interesting surface on this car because it changes a lot of direction. It's pretty cool. So you have this positive and then it kicks out at the end again. And you can tell this, again, when we had that sketch, we were deciding what this surface was doing. And here you can clearly see that it's sticking out. and then you can see how it breaks back down again, but again, it's not a flat surface. It has like a little bit of curvature to it. And then you can see how it kicks out again because this base of the car is sticking out. Another thing that I forgot to mention is we're putting section lines, but a lot of times a cut line, like where the doors meet or where one surface meets the other, like this one, can help you describe the body. So when you're doing your final sketch, because the section lines are more like when you're developing the shape of the car, but when you want to finalize like a final rendering and you still want to show some indication of what the surface is doing besides the color, you can use the cut lines. And if you see this cut line, even though it's at a different angle than my tape line, you can see how it helps describe the body the same way. If I move my camera a little bit, you can tell how like this line and this lines are doing the same. And if I was to take this line out because the sketch is finalized and we just want to show the final rendering, then your cut lines are a pretty good indication of what the surface is doing. You can see, you can read it doing exactly the same as this pink line over here. I think this line is going to be super interesting because there's a lot of surface change direction. So if you can see here, we have a straight line, but see, look at what happens when we move it. So now that line, instead of being a perfect straight line, as we turn it into the angle, is going to help you describe the body a lot better. So you see it goes flat and then it cuts like in a flat little small surface here, then it cuts back in, and then it has the window, which is actually not flat. You can see it has a slight curvature to it, and then it sticks out, goes back in, and again you'll see that effect of the line breaking because this line from the rear view is perfectly straight, but by having this line break inwards is going to show you that there's a change of surface and that this surface is a lot deeper than this surface. So that's very important when you're creating your designs, to have more control of what's happening with your sketch. Okay, and this is the last section that I'm going to do for you, which would be very interesting to describe what this surface is doing, because we don't know if those things are flat, if it's just like a horizontal line, if it's parallel to the surface. So all these things you need to control, and I'm going to tape it for you so you can see how with a line you're able to understand a lot better if these things are angled inwards, outwards, straight, flat. So check this out. And from my end, it's just going to be a straight line. So you can see how this surface has like this surface a little flatter than this one comes down. Then you have this flat surface, and then it goes back in. So you will see that line disappear, right? So then you see it appear again, and then it will contour this surface, which has actually a slight of an angle, and then it's going to disappear again. And again, this does the same as this surface, and then here it will tell you how this surface, it's almost completely horizontal. It's going to stick out, and then it has a negative surface, and then it comes right back out, and then it will disappear again. Then it disappears again, and then it goes down out of view. This will help you understand better, and again I'll move the camera to the front so you can see how it's a straight line, and then how when I move it to the side the lines get a little more dramatic. So you can see how much more dramatic this is, sticking out and out and out and all the way. And then probably I would just get rid of this one, and this one when I'm putting on the sketch, because I'm just showing that that's basically a hole, it's just black. Hopefully this will help you understand a lot better what you're doing with your design and how to control with those section lines, control what the surfaces are doing, so no one is trying to guess what's happening with that actual surface. Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos a lot. These are really fun to make for me, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Thank you for watching. See you guys on Wednesday for our short Race Day Wednesday videos. And also don't forget, because we'll do every Friday, we do a new tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.